Hello everyone, this is Matt from Real World Review, and today I actually wanted to talk to you about one of the most annoying things that I've seen in quite a while, and it is eBay. So one of the most annoying things that I've been experiencing is that eBay, they have a breakdown of what everything is. So when you go to sell something, for example, if it's broken, you can put it for parts. If it's used, you just put it as used. If it's pre-owned, I guess it's pre-owned. I'm not sure how that one works. And I don't know what the difference is because when I go to sell stuff, it doesn't really tell me that sometimes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So if you go on eBay, it'll tell you, it'll say there's new, new other, which you see the details, open box, certified refurbished, excellent refurbished, very good refurbished, good refurbished, seller refurbished, used, and for parts or not working. So the interesting thing about used is it says an item that has been used previously. This item may have signs of cosmetic wear, but is fully functional and functions as intended. This item may be a floor model or a store return that has been used. See the seller's listing for full details and description of any imperfections. For parts are not working, the item does not function as intended and is not fully operational. Now here's the confusing thing. Technically, if an item does not function as intended, then it's broken, it's for parts, that's fine. But if you crack the back of your phone, it will still work as intended, with the exception of maybe like water resistance and other stuff like that. Same thing if you crack the screen on your phone, because it's still going to work, it's just not going to be brand new, or it's not going to be, not broken. But it will still function, and it's going to be fully operational most of the time. It does say this includes items that are defective in ways that render them difficult to use, which if your screen's cracked a lot, it may be difficult to use. Items that require service or repair, which technically depends on who you are. I personally think that it requires service or repair if you're going to be selling something as used. Items that are locked or can't be activated, and here's a weird one, or items missing essential components. And if we go back to use, it says functions as intended. So technically, this phone has Gorilla Glass, whatever. So technically what's going to happen is if I scratch the front of it, nothing matters because Gorilla Glass doesn't really help for that. What it does help for is for drops. If I crack this, technically this is not as intended, because now if I have a Gorilla Glass 6 or Gorilla Glass Victus, whatever it is on here, and I break it, now that Gorilla Glass is pointless. Does that make sense? To me it makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to you. Let me know what you think. But the reason I bring this up is because when I was doing my review actually of the Z Fold 2, so what happens, which might not work properly, but on here obviously there's a crease. It folds, it opens up, all that good stuff, right? So what happens is this actually has a piece of glass that goes on top of it. It's very thin and it's technically flexible, but in the middle, a lot of the times it'll actually start to crack. Now, I think that sometimes it depends on the people that are using the phone, the temperature, a bunch of different things, but overall, it does eventually crack, right? And what will happen is when it does crack, the screen is plastic, so then you have shards of glass that puncture that screen and cause it to not work properly or not show anything on the screen, which then means that you cannot use the phone. Sure, you can use the outside screen, but the inside screen can't be used, which is the whole point of a folding phone. What is the point of having a folding phone if you can only use one screen? Then you have the glass on the back, which can crack as well. But when I look up Samsung Z Fold 2, and I go through here, and I find one, and it says pre-owned. So let's go through a few of these. So I'm going to open up, just find some cheap ones. This one says read. That's an interesting one. This one also says read, but it says pre-owned. These both say pre-owned. They don't say for parts or anything like that. And here is one for parts only. Another pre-owned, and let's go with this pre-owned. It says read DE. People aren't good at spelling. I don't know. No, it's just cut off. But all right, so this first one, Samsung Z Fold 2, Phantom Black, unlocked. It says used. So we'll look at it, and it looks like is decent on the front, decent on the back. I can't really see much, and the inside screen looks fine. I don't see any black spots around the edges. It might be the lighting or it might be some screen burn. I'm not really sure. If I scroll down here, it just says used, great condition, has some minor scratches, no charger included. From what I can see on these pictures, everything looks okay. It doesn't look like anything's cracked. Like I said, there is a little bit of that screen burn. So this is fine. $425. It's a little much for that, plus $20 for shipping. Yeah, I would skip on that one. And then this one, here's one. It says read. I wonder why. So it says condition used, which, let me remind you, means that the item is previously used, it has signs of cosmetic wear, but is fully operational and functions as intended. So we go back to this. The device has a slight bent frame and does not fold completely flat. See pictures. What? This phone does not fold. Okay. Here. I have the phone right here. Look at that. It folds flat and it folds closed. That's how it's supposed to work, right? If you go and buy one in the store, if you can find one, whatever, you can't do this. You can't just have it not fold all the way and then say, "Oh yeah, that's how it's supposed to be." I mean, talk about a crease. That would be insane. To use your phone like this, like an actual book? Really? I should be able to do this. How is this allowed? Used. This is used. 7,245 feedback. I don't even have that much feedback, and I've had my eBay for like 10 plus years. And I mean, I'm just going to some random person, but Device Giant, this looks like a company. This is someone that sells products. This one has a black dot in the screen, labeled as used. This one literally has a broken screen, labeled as used. Why are people allowed to sell this stuff? This is used? This is used. But maybe it's just that one person, right? Let's go through. So here we have another one, Samsung Z Fold 2. If I scroll through here, it says phone turns on to the menu shown, and you have to press reboot now. The volume button does not work, has a small blemish on the screen, sold as is, no refunds, no returns. So let's go back to that. Not only does the phone turn on to the menu shown, but you also have to press reboot. And it says volume up does not work. So what's really happening here is that it's stuck holding volume up, and then when you power on the phone, it just boots it up into recovery, and that's why you have to reboot it. Technically, it's a really easy fix if you can just remove these things. Sometimes you have to like kind of mess with the frame or possibly change out the physical buttons on the outside itself. I'm not sure if they come out the same way like normal Galaxy S phones, but for me, it's probably an easy fix. Definitely easier than trying to fix that power button. And if anything, these phones aren't water resistant, so you can always take off the back and just replace that part if you need to. If I can get this phone cheap, I would probably actually buy this phone. But then we go back to the screen, and it has a little blemish on the screen right there, which is damage on the display. That blemish does mean that I won't be able to really use this phone as it's supposed to. I mean, I'm supposed to be able to open the phone up and have a nice, beautiful 120 hertz display that I can use every pixel of, but certain pixels won't work. So why they're allowed to sell this? I don't know. $350. We just saw that other one that was like $4 something. Why would I buy this one when I can buy one that's, working properly for $100 more or whatever it was? But again, used. This is not used. This is not functioning how it's supposed to be. This is for parts. If I have a car and my transmission fails and everything else still works on the car, I can't sell it as used. It's for parts. It's not functioning how it's supposed to. Just like this is not functioning how it's supposed to. But eBay doesn't care. You can literally have volume up does not work, but the AI or whatever they use to read the actual description won't see that it's not working and go, okay, we can still sell this as used. But if I ever say that something is cracked or something has been fixed, I can't sell it as used anymore. I have to sell it as refurbished, or I don't really remember exactly what it was. What would happen before is I would used to sell stuff that I fixed. So like I would fix the screen and I would say the screen was cracked, but it's been replaced to let people know. And you know what would happen? You need to put this as for parts only, because I put cracked in it. That's it. But for some reason, you don't need to do that anymore, I guess. Here's another one. It says read, and that's why we have it here. So use Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. It says the phone works fine from the inner screen, main screen. The main screen has signs of scratches and scuff, one dark spot under left area. The fold doesn't open flat all the way. Outside screen cracked in the LCD, can't use. You literally cannot use the display. It's an OLED, but you can't use the display. Back cover cracked in lower area, sale for the phone only. So we look at this and we look and you see that little smudge right there. You actually see cracks in the middle of the screen. So that's pretty cool. And then we look at the back. Back seems fine except for that bottom left corner. Okay. And then that top right corner looks terrible. And seriously, you can't open this up all the way. But then the screen is broken. This is non-functioning. At least it's $185, but this does not work. But here we are again. 4,166 feedback, 100% positive. This is used. This is a company. This is someone selling a bunch of different products. This is a random phone. Look, used. That is a cracked screen. That line in there is a cracked screen. Physically terribly cracked. What are you talking about used? This is not used. The phone is in good working condition with black spots on the main LCD and with the line. However, the screen still works fine. The outer screen is good and has a hairline crack on the camera glass. Gee, why? That is cracked camera glass. Finally, for parts only. Look, a cracked screen, another spot, but it's for parts. The back isn't even cracked. The front doesn't look cracked either. Look, the device has the following issues, has screen separation, has a non-working digitizer. I mean, this looks like it's just like an autofill sort of thing, but it's $1, you can bid on it. And it's like, it's a company, 10,000. This one for parts not working. This one for parts not working. This one is labeled as used, so yeah, they're not really the best, I guess, because it is cracked. The display is cracked. Sure, you can technically use this. If you sprain your ankle, you can technically walk, but you can't say that your ankle is fine. You can't say that there's nothing wrong with your ankle. Just like this, you can't say there's nothing wrong with this phone. As cracks in the screen. The display isn't working. So if I buy this phone and the display continues to just fail, if I break this screen even more after I buy this, will they be selling me a non-working phone? I mean, it says it has a cracked screen, severe LCD damage, OLED damage. Severe OLED damage. They're literally telling you that. They're putting it in here and they can still label it as used. Why? And I mean, I can go on and on. This one, fully functional. What? This one, fully functional. What is that? Why is this allowed? There's the IMEI. Why is this allowed? Fully functional. Just, the inside screen doesn't work. Car works perfectly fine. Just can't drive it. Again, a company. Not a person. Not one person selling a bunch of their things. This is a Z Flip 3. You literally cannot use the phone. Used. Bad LCD. It's used though. You could, it's probably free to replace. But it has a bad LCD. Needs to be replaced. Literally tells you it needs to be replaced. Listed as used. What are you doing, eBay? I've seen stuff like this on Swappa too, so not everyone is immune to this. Swappa feels a little bit different because you can actually just list products and you don't have to say that they're used or new. I mean, well, I guess it does have a grading system, so no, everyone needs to be improving on that. I don't really have examples for Swappa, so I'm not really going to put them in here too much. But yeah, eBay is definitely the worst, but there are a lot of companies. I mean, you can't include OfferUp or Craigslist or anything like that because they barely even function. Same thing with Macari. They're function on half a brain cell over there. So yeah, in the used market, the most ironic thing that you can trust is Amazon. It is what it is. hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you definitely learned something from this video. I guess you have to read the description and read everything. Look over those pictures a bunch of times whenever you use eBay, and yeah, that should be your learning point right there. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Leave any comments in the comments area, and as always, thanks for watching.